Well, it wasn't that long ago when electric cars were considered too expensive and too impractical for most consumers. But a lot has changed in recent years. In fact, the demand for electric cars is charging ahead. David Mao, TD Asset Management, joins us with more. David, sorry about that joke.
Good one, Anthony.
To start, tell us a little bit about where the electric car market is right now.
Sure. So electric vehicle sales right now are about 1.5% to 2% of global auto sales. Now, in some regions of the world, it's higher. So, in particular regions of Europe and China, of course, those sales figures are higher. But overall, we're still at a very, very low level of EV penetration at the moment.
And one of the biggest challenges for the industry has been the cost of the engine, specifically the battery inside the engine. And we have a chart that speaks to this. But that's changed recently. Talk to us a little bit about that.
One thing to understand is that the battery is the most expensive component in an electric vehicle. Now, there have been great strides made in battery manufacturing and technology over the last, call it 9-10 years. And the price of a battery has dropped by about close to 80% in that time period.
That's a significant jump.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of efficiencies made. But I think in order for automakers to be able to sell electric vehicles profitably and at a level where it's cost competitive to your normal gasoline engine so that the consumer is willing to buy it, the battery price probably has to come down by another 50 to 60% before we reach that kind of equilibrium level.
So as the cost of the batteries coming down, what is that going to do for sales going forward?
The expectation at the moment is that sales of electric vehicles are going to make up more than 50% of the total car market in about 15 to 20 years. So by around the 2035 time frame, we would expect to see more than half of total annual car sales to be in the form of electric vehicles.
And for investors, do you necessarily have to invest in Tesla in order to play this market? Are there other options?
Yeah, so I mean, Tesla is the name that everyone knows, but I mean, in fact, right now, practically every automaker is investing in electric vehicles. Now, I think another interesting way to benefit from this EV electric vehicle theme is to look at some of the auto suppliers, and in particular, some of the suppliers that do things that are vital to the production of electric vehicles. So components like wiring assemblies.
So these are parts, things that go into the engine.
Well, that go into not necessarily the engine because there's no engine to speak of,
Or the battery.
but that help the car, that power the rest of the car. So wiring assemblies and electrical connectors and other electrical architecture components. So, rather than making a bet on, which auto brand, whether it's Volkswagen or GM or BMW, is going to have the best electric vehicle sales, you can look at some of the suppliers who are going to benefit regardless of who ends up with the most popular EV.
David, thank you very much.
You're welcome.